Tyrese Maxey has obviously been scorching to start this new NBA season, and he's scoring at a crazy level. But to me, the most interesting thing is his playmaking development, which has jumped massively from the last couple seasons where Maxey had made incremental progress, but this is kind of new level stuff of what we're seeing. And I want to start the video by looking at some playmaking reps from just a couple years ago, where we can see Maxey is just very fast, out of control, not making reads that make a ton of sense. As we see, he doesn't slow down to let Drummond roll ahead of him. Rather, he just sprints into Bam, leaves his feet, which, unless you're like Luka or Halliburton or something, this is just not something you should be doing, and totally whiffs on a pretty open pass. One thing that a lot of young handlers struggle with, and Maxey struggled with for sure, was handling ball pressure, as he was really quick to pick it up and make bad decisions against double teams or blitzes or just guards pressuring. And his overall usage of ball screens has just not been very advanced. I'm not really sure what Maxey is trying to do on this play, where Garland cuts him off here, but he's not attempting to really push this rescreen middle to push him middle, and just throws a lazy wrap pass that's inaccurate and gets picked off. This is like the Maxey story, and of course he just wasn't as comfortable as a ball handler either, which made getting to his spots to be a passer harder. And as we go forward, I want you to keep those plays in the back of your head as we watch Maxey's passing from this season, where the first thing to notice, I think, is the smoothness of his deliveries. He's patient, driving here, waiting for Embiid to pop, simply taking what the defense is giving him, understanding that there is no help. Take away this Embiid three, simple wraparound pocket pass, and Joel ends up rewarding him by hitting a wide open three. Everything he does looks smoother, faster, more confident. He's so much more comfortable threading these live dribble bounce passes than he used to be. As Maxey is going slow, he's not just barreling straight forward, waiting for Paul Reed to roll. This is a huge window, but again, a lot of pocket pass windows, again, especially against backup defenses, are going to be pretty large. And it's been great to see Maxey totally rip them apart this season, whether it's with Paul Reed or Embiid as a partner. The screen navigation and just the screen setup has been really impressive as well, which is another thing that most young ball handlers do not do well. Instead of just using this screen to the left where there's a ton of defensive help, Maxey pushes through to right, snatches back, and now he has a bigger window to drive and hit Embiid in the pocket once again, who can roll to the rim and score. This patient pocket pass, two-man game passing is what Maxey is really incredible at now. And once again, I want you to remember that one play from earlier where Maxey totally capitulated under pressure against Van Vliet. This wasn't even a double, really. Van Vliet just put a little pressure on and he picked the ball up. A couple years later, we see a similar play where not end of the shot clock, Maxey gets blitzed, immediately notices the hole, makes a tighter window, bounce pass to Paul Reed, who goes and makes a play. This is really solid stuff. The patience and the setup, again, perfect timing on this pocket pass. He is a fantastic pocket passer, which is so funny. This is a very new development for Tyrese Maxey as well, relative to the course of his passing career. Perfect early trigger here. Sometimes the best play isn't to dribble and to wait for Embiid to roll. He notices that Gafford is high up, which means Embiid's going to have an easier time getting down low, and that is an easy pocket pass for a wide open dunk. Maxey is getting his bigs wide open dunks and layups more than they have in the past with all of these beautiful little pocket pass and setups, and it's just amazing the way he can make life easier for guys like Embiid to hopefully increase his longevity and even use a tiny little bit of manipulation here, as we see Maxey kind of looking up at the rim, trying to hold Miles Turner with his eyes, with his body language before rifling it down to Embiid. And at that point, Turner is in bad position and he isn't able to stop Embiid on that play. So all of this passing growth is really, really significant. And we again see his willingness to be patient here, which I think is probably my biggest takeaway. Maxey's always been so fast, blinding, hard to guard, but now he's willing to slow down, take a pause dribble, read the defense, and feed passes into these windows. And when we look at Maxey's willingness to be a playmaker, to play with patience, to find these tighter windows than he has found in the past, it's really inspiring and kind of remarkable. Maxey is destroying his numbers from before. Assist rate almost doubled, turnover rate almost halved, and this turnover rate is so remarkably low, just meaning the percentage of his plays that end in turnovers. If we compare it to last year's ball handlers, all of the high assist rate guys, I think Max is around 28 this year, none of them have a turnover rate even close to where Maxey is this year. And obviously there's some early season stuff. Maxey's going to turn the ball over more as he continues to play make more. There has just been really good variance with turnovers. But even we see some of the best passers in the league have decently high turnover rates, because players who throw a lot of touchdowns tend to throw a lot of interceptions too. It's just how it works. And high turnover rates aren't necessarily a bad thing, but Maxey is managing to have high assist rates, to create a ton of plays as a passer as we've gone over, and also taking care of the ball. And most of his turnovers to me are just like technical little accuracy errors, which is a stark contrast to what we saw in the beginning, which were like a lot of decision making and poise mistakes, where now it's just kind of like, yeah, sometimes Maxey is going to misfire. Great job in this play. Even on the negative plays, we can see good process here of Maxey doesn't have anything with this initial screen, so he resets, gets baseline, and just kind of throws an inaccurate pass there that might have been kicked. But point being, like, the read was good, the timing was good. Same with this play where Maxey just throws an inaccurate pass. I think this is also partly on Harris for just not making a great effort to catch this ball. But it's a very simple read. He was obviously cooking in this Pacers game. Pacers sent 2. McConnell's behind the play. Easy pass over top to Tobias Harris. He just doesn't end up making the read, which is going to happen. These kind of plays are going to happen. And it's funny now that I think Maxey's like biggest kind of challenge passes are not what he used to struggle with. Like, these passes are so ambitious now, even though this is a turnover. This is what I mean when I say, like, not all turnovers are necessarily created equal, where Maxey is making a complicated read here. This is a great job by noticing that, once again, the Pacers are sending 2 at him. They're trying to switch, and they're being a little late on their switches as well, with McConnell and the other guards not getting down to the big. So he sees a window, tries to fit in that wrap pass, and just a little bit off, and a solid play by the defender. But this is great process and good ideas, and what you want your young playmakers to be doing. And funny enough, I think like the last step for Maxey's playmaking is this like audibling out of his scoring threat, which is funny because we're going to go back and look at his college passing in a second, where Maxey can... It definitely doesn't happen as much as it used to, but he can get in like full scoring mode and turn on the blinders again. Like, he does a great job drawing the defense, and he has a free 1-on-2 and doesn't really even consider the pass to Embiid here. And I find that really funny because that was like his best kind of pass in college, where he was a very basic passer at best. Like, he could get downhill and throw up a lob with decent timing when the defense rotated and came down, and he was good using his burst to get into the paint, find his big lob targets. None of these reads are complex. Attacked, you can notice they're all attacking second side defenses. Obviously, in many of the Sixers plays, Maxey is acting as a primary initiator, the primary ball handler, where here he's just like attacking wide open space and capitalizing on poor defensive rotations. We can even see like the secondary curl passing, where the actions were just so much more simple for him in college. And even with these simple actions, he wasn't a great passer. Attacking closeouts, where he only has to read a second level of defense, he wasn't that great of a passer. But this was like the main thing he did, was like passing off of his driving threat. And now he's a legit pick and roll passer, which is just a huge testament to his work ethic and his development and all the good stuff he's done. And the general ball handling and pick and roll pace obviously aids his scoring, which is at all-time levels. He is more patient this year than he once was. He doesn't have a great lane to the rim with Chris digging at the nail and Brook in his way, so he resets, uses the screen, goes behind the back to reject the screen, snakes into floater range, and he can't, like, he doesn't make the shot, but regardless, I think the process of getting there is so impressive, shaking some pretty good defense to get to his spot and give himself a chance to score there. And obviously he's probably not gonna keep scoring at this rate. I think it's like somewhat sustainable though, as Maxey has always been a very efficient scorer from everywhere. But point being, he is learning to operate as a scorer and a passer more fluidly together. He's obviously always been an elite floater guy, which forces defenders to stay up and guard him, which opens up passes to Embiid. And in this case, where Miles Turner stays down to guard the roll, Maxey's able to float in an easy little shot there. And this clip isn't super relevant with the video today, but oh my god, that's insanely nasty. The handle just looks so much better in every way, not just in the pick and roll, but creating for his own jumpers, behind the back, pop, step back in the mid-range. The kind of stuff that Maxey is doing is just really deadly. And he's always had this special touch where he can turn on the jets and blow by whoever he wants, but now he's blending that with elite passing ability. Not only can he just blow it to the rim and scoop little insane touch finger rolls in, defenses have to worry about this play. This is a pass that Maxey can and will make. And I think one more next step as a passer is going to be these inside out reads, these skip passes. So this is weird spacing, but finding the weak side shooter when defenses will start digging down harder on Embiid's rolls and testing Maxey to hit these outside passes. And I think that's something he's shown flashes of being able to do in the past, and something he definitely could develop to be more consistent at. But overall, I kind of just want to help people understand like how legit this Tyrese Maxey passing leap is. It's not just like the assist numbers inflating because of him taking on a higher usage role, which obviously is part of the case with him. He is playing a much larger role without Harden, but the passing reads themselves are more complicated. His pace and process as a ball handler, he looks so much more comfortable blending scoring and passing, and all of this combined with his scoring has made Maxey look like a borderline all-NBA player this year. It's obviously early, and his defense is probably always going to be a bit of a problem, but it's rare to get guards with his blend of shooting, off-ball play, scoring as a primary, and playmaking. And if Maxey can keep this up, he's probably going to be a lock all-star this year. And I can imagine him making all-star games for years and years to come. And Maxey's one of my favorite players in the league and has been since he was in college, honestly. And I'm so stoked to finally see him take this superstar leap.